is no antidote. There 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 is no antidote.
Hello, Peculiars. I actually have just a little bit of a sneaky surprise early video that we're going to show before we get started today, just so that you have a sense of where we're coming from with some of those peculiar drink names that you saw earlier. And I think it's nice to have a sneak preview. Davey, take it away.
Hello, you have come to the purveyor of organs, and we have many organs to share with you today in case you need some new ones. For instance, very popular liquid organs, yes. In fact, many of your organs will end up in a liquid state anyway. But perhaps you would like to replace something smaller, a couple of kidneys, maybe, just little ones. Or maybe you would like a ghost heart. Yes, a ghost heart. Very exciting. They take all of the cells out of the heart and it's very white and very strange. See? Yes. Now, the interesting thing about the ghost heart is I cannot sell it to you. Actually, it is only for ghosts. Yes, these ghosts work very well. It does not work so well for human beings because we cannot get the cells back onto the heart, which is a real problem that Mary Roach is going to tell you about all of this tonight. Yes. So anyway, if you need other organs, I probably know where to find them. Most of them are in other people's bodies. Yes, don't worry though. They won't need them anymore when we are done.
Anyway, you won't need them anymore when we're done. I'm really excited about tonight's show, and tonight's show is extra special because this is like a callback to the past, right? Davey, you remember this is like recalling our very first show.
The OG, the original. Yeah. I can't believe it. Yeah. Mary's been with us the whole time. She's
Mary Roach. Yeah. And what's really cool about this is I didn't think we were going to get a chance to do this book. And so it's kind of this, I feel like the stars aligned, the universe knew that we needed to do this show. And it's an unusual one for us because we're doing it before the book is released, which we almost never do.
But that's so we can't give you any spoilers. We don't. Well, I don't know. No spoilers for me.
I know. I know all kinds of things. So I'm going to ask a lot of cool questions that are going to tantalize you guys. But I'm sure you're all going to have wonderful, fun questions and follow-up questions for Mary. So please do enter the chat, make your comments. Quick thing to remember, there's a top chat and a live chat. You want to be on the live chat.
Before we introduce Mary, I have something we need the Peculiars to do. This has never happened yet, but we have a tie for the drink name. So if you know where to go while you're watching, log on to Facebook if you haven't voted and get a vote in. You've got 5-10 minutes or so to get a vote in before we do announcements. So we'll see if the numbers change. I'm ready for either way.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize. Okay, so we are ready, I think, to introduce the guest with the most, the ghost heart with the most, Mary Roach. Welcome, Mary. Hey.
Hello.
So excited to see you.
Hello. Lovely to be back. I forgot I was numero uno. That's great.
Numero uno. Yes, you were the very first guest we ever. I tell people it's kind of your fault that I started doing the show. They have you to thank, is what I mean to say.
That's right. There we go. Yes.
Yeah. This all began when I typed onto Twitter. I was like, how come there's not like a cool, like, someplace that's really cool for nonfiction authors to go? And I'm like listing all these things that should have. And Mary's like, I know the perfect person to do that. You. And I thought, well, if Mary tells you to do it, you just have to.
You got to do it.
You got to do it. We have a big group here tonight.
Are these windshield wiper glasses?
Oh, no, they're not. So I have a friend named Andrea, and Andrea's great, but she always teases me because I tend to buy boring glasses. And so I decided I needed some new reading glasses, and I literally typed in online, like, what are the craziest glasses I can buy? And these weren't the craziest ones, but they were the craziest ones in my budget. So yeah, this is they are kind of heavy. So they're not everyday use glasses, I'm afraid, but it does allow me to actually read the comments.
They're very attractive.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have some great, I just was looking over here. There's a lot of people in the green room tonight. We've got Rebecca Gibson and Kristen Meston, Sureka, who's, I think, in Paris. Did you say you're in Paris tonight?
Wow.
Susan and Leanne, and Leanne was with us earlier, Elizabeth Whitten from St. John's. So it's a big crew, and I haven't even gone through them all. Ryan's back from the desert. Mindy's here. She says she loves my classes too. Sadie, I just like giving a bit of a shout out because there's so many. Oh, and yep, Randy and Tori, they've actually been with us since the very first show too, I think. And Amanda Johnson. So these are so many fun people have come back, that many of whom were here at the beginning too, which is kind of awesome because it means we're all having a big reunion party tonight, which I absolutely freaking love. And there's questions already. God bless you all. I just want to say, this is awesome. Amanda says, I hope you're all excited for this book. I'm a third of the way through it and have laughed so many times already. So Amanda must have gotten an ARC copy too. I got it. I got a chance to read this. It is going to be out next Tuesday. You said?
Yes.
Yes, I love it. Amanda also wants to, and I've got some of these too. But this is a good line. If you're not excited enough yet, Blood Bank glory holes. Sorry, yeah, glory holes. Actually, there's some good ones in there. I can't wait to talk about the penis finger. The penis finger. We're going to get there. We are. And also, you guys. Also, I'm sad to say you missed Mary singing "Detachable Penis" earlier, like before we got online, and it was a beautiful thing. So it was very good. So I'm going to start off with a softball question, which I always like to do, but especially for you, Mary, because I'm curious to how this book came about. What led you to replacement parts?
Yeah, well, this one, well, partly I'm getting older and everything's wearing out, so I have a natural kind of interest in replacing things. But this one, I got an email from a reader who had an idea for me to write a book. And it was, in fact, she wanted me to write about professional football referees, which was kind of a weird. I know. I have no idea why. She was interested in football and thought maybe I'd like to write an entire book.
Which kind of football?
Oh, sorry, American.
Yes.
Yeah.
American football.
Right.
Okay. American football referees. This
Yeah.
does not feel like a Mary Roach book to me.
No, not
I
at all.
I feel
I
like
know,
baseball
I know.
umpires would be weirder. If you're looking for
I know.
material, I feel like they're a weirder group.
Exactly. Baseball umpires, like with the baggy black pants, and why do they wear those? But anyway, so I started emailing with her a little bit, and it turns out she's an elective amputee. So she's somebody who wanted her foot removed because it didn't work very well. So she had spina bifida, and her foot was kind of twisted as a result of some of her spinal problems. And she would see people walking around with a prosthetic limb and being able to hike and jump and run. And she's like, I want that, but no, sir, nobody will cut off my foot. Please, somebody cut off my foot. She did finally find a surgeon to cut off her foot. But I thought that was kind of interesting. She said, well, you could come with me to the Amputee Coalition next year. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then around the same time, I was picking someone's brain, someone who works in a stem cell lab. We ended up talking, in fact, about, I don't know how this came up, but she told me about a surgeon in Tbilisi, Georgia, Georgia, who had a kind of unorthodox penis reconstruction technique that involved amputating the man's own middle finger and installing it. So we can get to that later if you'd like.
So I have to tell you that okay. So Davey, I hope you're watching the comments here because I just took my glasses off and now I can't see anything. But here's the funny thing is I'm writing a review of your book, for a major outlet, right?
And I thank
I
you.
sent it, and the editor wrote back and was like, you don't mean a finger like with the bone still in. And I wrote back and I was like, no, that's right. And he wrote back and he's like, no, you don't. I was like,
Yes, you
no,
do.
that's correct. A finger with the bones in it.
With the bone. Yep.
With the bones. He gets a boner.
Because it was, yes, it was, the finger was to provide rigidity. Also, it enabled the finger to kind of be bent up, like that. And I know this because I saw a slide. The office manager took me into his office. The surgeon was out of town, had ignored all my emails, and she took me in and showed me some after shots. And one of them was the penis kind of bent up with a ceramic water pitcher hanging off of it, like
yeah,
some iced tea, my love. Anyway, it was an unorthodox approach to reconstructing the penis, but I have to say, having seen the after image, it looked like a penis, and
it didn't really look like a finger. It didn't look like a
did
finger.
not
Was
look
it
like a finger.
disappointing? Were you actually kind of like, oh?
Yeah, because of course, me being me, I pictured the finger just sort of taken off and installed as a finger down there, like able to move with a nail still attached. Yeah. Hey, baby.
I'm just imagining that's the New York Times blurb. Mary Roach says it looked like a penis.
I picked a couple of better ones than that. I actually wore my replacement. I wore a giant eyeball for you because I thought,
nice.
eyeballs get replaced. Eyeballs do get replaced, but apparently, we got to talk about eyes too, because that was another thing. I actually brought this up specifically I got so many fact checks on this thing, and I was like, no, that's what it says. But how we go farsighted as we age is also really fascinating because I had no idea. And she will tell you that the human eye lens grows your entire life, like tree roots.
That's what I was told. Yeah.
That was just
yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yep.
All right, now I gotta be able to read, so I gotta put the glasses on. I know I'm getting some eye glare from the lights. I thought I had them positioned properly, but apparently not. All right, so going back up here, I know there were some earlier ones. Kristen Meston asks, Mary, when you contact someone you want to interview, do they already know who you are at this point and what strange info you probably want, or are they just like completely, are you just some random person to them?
It's both, but it's actually really helpful when somebody has read one of my books because number one, they know what I'm up to. It's not going to be a rude awakening for them, and if there's somebody who likes the book, they're going to be happy to kind of have me show up. So that helps a lot, but it's not always. I just hit escape because I can't take the full view. Big head. So they sometimes I have to kind of get them up to speed. I have to kind of say, I don't actually just want to look at a PowerPoint. I've traveled a long way, and I would like to see what you do and have a conversation. And there's certain elements of what you do that are interesting to me, and others less so. So you kind of have to steer things sometimes, but. Yeah, but I find that usually if somebody responds to my email and says sure, they're kind of my kind of person. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I read some very nice quotes from some of the folks that you interviewed, and I thought those seem like our kind of people too.
Yeah.
Especially some of the gastrosurgeons who I thought were quite very forthright in the way that they talk about the last 6 inches of your body. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I'm also going to get to Leanne says, does search engine optimization play an increasing role in your writing and PR outreach? Which is a really interesting question because I think search engine optimization has been both helpful and hurtful to my research.
Hang on. What's the question? Does search engine optimization play an increasing role
in like your writing or any of your your outreach and things like that?
What do you mean, search engine optimization? What do you mean by what does that even mean? What does that mean?
Search engine optimization. I'm going to have her clarify it so that I don't.
Oh,
misspeak.
maybe she's talking about like the topics you write about, like you write about topics that would create easy searches so that they pop up higher in search engines.
I am having a.
Oh, I don't. Search engine. I don't think it affects my writing. PR outreach. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
That's okay. Maybe Leanne can get back in and clarify. We have other questions here. Elizabeth asked, when pitching to publishers, how do you get over the ick factor they might have when discussing death, bodies? I recently discussed a green funeral book, was told I need to get over that hurdle.
It's less of a hurdle than you think it might be. My first book would have been, I think, probably the toughest to pitch, but I got a lot of positive reactions, including from the woman who ended up being my editor for Stiff, is a poet and a novelist and a very kind of not Mary Roachy person at all, but she'd been the editor of a book called The Undertaking by Thomas Lynch, and that book had done well. So she's like, I don't know, dead bodies seems to work. Go do it. So it wasn't hard at all. I have to say though, the one book I once talked to my editor about maybe doing a book called Geezer about like all the stuff that happens when you get old, and she's like, Mary, old people, no. Like, no. Yeah, that was that's the only time I felt really just stonewalled. Like that is just too gross for us to even consider.
I guess when you pitch, you're not just coming up with like saying here's the topic. Are you submitting like a little bit of sample to be like, this is how I'm going to add Mary Roach flavor to it. So
no, I don't do a sample chapter, but I'll do a proposal, and they get shoddier the further I go along.
Understandably so. You've reached that point in your career.
Maybe I'll do this. I'll probably go there. I don't know.
Well, but you're also working with the same publisher too, which is a huge help. I think that really changes things. Specifically, I have not actually had a chance to work with the same publisher twice yet. I keep hoping that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah, a little continuity goes a long way. It's really great to not have to do a whole proposal over and over.
Abigail says, honestly, my dream as a scientist is to work on something Mary wants to write about.
Oh, cool. What kind of science what do you work on?
Yeah, Abigail, you have to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Sadie also says, has there been anything that grossed you out so much that you couldn't write about it?
Oh, no. No.
Of course not. What was I thinking?
I know. I did, though. I used to be friends with, she's moved. That's why I'm not anymore. Judy Melanek, who's she's on TikTok. Mm-hmm. She's a medical examiner, and she does a lot on TikTok.
Yeah, we had her up here.
Yeah. She was the medical examiner for Alameda County, where I live. And she kind of made it her goal one time to make Mary Roach gag. And she did it. She did. Yeah. She's like, she just said, oh, you should come down to the morgue. We have an interesting couple of cases today.
Oh no.
Yeah, they were bodies that had been left on a hot summer day for many hot summer days. So that was just, I'm sorry. I'm like, I ran out of the room.
Oh God.
Like,
the smell
is
very, very
and
briefly
the visuals. Yeah.
Thought about going to a body farm and then was like, I can't even stand the smell of skunk. I don't think that I can handle a body farm. So I didn't end up doing it.
Yeah, but at least that's outdoors. That's outdoors.
That's true. That's true. That would be less bad.
And depending on what stage of decomposition they're in, the smelly phase, it passes.
Yeah, that's true. So a quick update. So I guess what Leanne was talking about had to do with like SEO keywords and stuff. So the way like keywords where people want stuff to be noticed by AI. And then I saw someone else mention, Rebecca Gibson said every time one of her publishers changes their title, it seems like SEO or like keyword recognition is the reason. And so I think part of it is, are people pressing you for that kind of stuff? Or I know I get a little bit of it.
Oh, you mean like choosing a certain title over another title?
Yeah. Or just, people like, it's really, honestly, you might not be running into it because your books are relatively your name is well known. Like probably they don't care. They're like, it's Mary Roach. That's the keyword. That's all you need to know. But it is true. When I wrote The Intermediaries, I got a lot of pushback because the word transgender wasn't in the title, which was intentional because I knew that was being blocked. Right.
I see.
So it was kind of like you have to sort of.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. I did notice. What was it? Somebody, there was a video. Oh, I see. Retitling six feet over was just because spook was it used to be a racial epithet.
I see.
Spook. So
in the United States, yeah.
In the United States. So when we were redesigning the backlist and they were redoing the covers, I actually suggested, because they wanted to do a bit of a sensitivity read. We didn't have a sensitivity reader, but somebody who's more sensitive than me.
Sensitivity read on Mary Roach books. That seems like that would be like a whole.
That was a big job. Yeah. That's when it was sort of the peak of that era of increased caution and consideration and not wanting to trigger anybody. And I like 6 Feet Over. That was a name. The book was called that in the UK. So it was it already was used as a title.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it funny? So what is the I actually don't know the answer to this. Why do they change the titles between countries?
I don't just sometimes it's because the slang doesn't cross over, right? It doesn't,
I guess so.
bonk. Actually, bonk I think is more in the UK than in the US.
Right.
People in the
but
US
I do
thought
think
it should be boink.
Boink. Oh, how funny.
Randy
Trent says, no questions. Just want to tell you that you're the best. And I think earlier Abigail said that's why she joined our group in the first place.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and we've got Anthro Girl is here. This is really exciting because we've got the gang's all here tonight, which is pretty rad. Oh, and I also see a couple more questions come in. You guys, I'm working on it. I'm running down the edges here. The two titles. Oh, yeah. So she was saying that the corset ones, the two titles that publishers never changed were her corset ones. So I think does it have to do with specificity sometimes, I suppose? I certainly had to fight for my title. Not everybody wanted that one to be the one that.
Well, the other thing with titles is that if there's so many book titles that if you go on, say, Goodreads and you look it up, there are other books with that title. There is a book from 2004 called Replaceable You that I got, as I think that author got it from Embraceable You, Replaceable You. It's kind of an obvious title for a book about replaceable body parts, but he felt that I'd taken the idea from him. But this was a 2004 academic press book about post-war. I don't know. Anyway,
so probably not related.
Not any overlap. I mean, he's a cultural historian, and I'm just a science goober.
Well, and you get this all the time.
There's so many books that are like 6 Feet Over. There's a book called 6 Feet Over, and the subtitle is The Pleasures and Perils of Aerial Crop Spraying.
Whoa!
Yeah. So you think you're being clever and original, and somebody else has beat you to it.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, speaking of clever and original, while I was trying to choose anecdotes to go in the review, the titles are great. If you guys just read, you can read the table of contents even without the book because they're up on Amazon and stuff. The titles are great, and very, very funny. But I got myself slightly confused between the last 6 inches and the 8 inches of the resectioned colon that became a vagina, which is something we also have to talk about because vaginas are us here. Yeah. We do a lot with vaginas. But first, because Leanne reminded me, I do need to do the announcements. Yes, so we're going to do the announcements really quickly, and also because we have to talk about this amazing drink that Kat made for your show, which I actually have behind me here. So, all right, first of all and foremost, we are everywhere on social media. So if you're on social media, you can find us someplace. We are on Blue Sky and not Twitter because Twitter is mean.
Look what Davey did. Davey fixed it.
You fixed it. You did. Oh, thank you. So now we have the butterfly instead of the incorrect dead bird. So, so do find us on there. We do have a Discord. The Discord, I'm not very good with Discord, but it is up there and people are on there and they do talk. And so we highly suggest it. It's a nice place for little conversations, especially if you're not super into Facebook, which is where a lot of our other stuff takes place. So please do join us there. And of course, Goodreads. And if you're like me and you can't remember when things happen, the bookclub.com or bookclub.org, bookclub.com. Amanda, you have to remind me. But anyway, that's the one that I like to do because it populates your calendar for you and then sends you little reminders.
I have to remember that for my family. They're like, wait, you have book club tonight?
Yeah, everybody says that. Okay, so the one thing that is not true on this graphic that I will be changing soon is we have left Patreon. Patreon has gone the way of the Twitter bird. Essentially, we just couldn't make up after Apple tacked on extra fees, we just couldn't make it anymore. They were taking like 40% of all membership dues, which was just ridiculous. Wow. So I know. So we are now moving over to PayHip, which is really nice. And you can find that on our website. The nice thing about it is we're getting towards the end of this season anyway. So as we roll over to the next season, anyone who's on Patreon needs to move and you'll get more information about this. But the cool thing is we have way cooler like web protocol over there. So it's much, much easier to find what you want. It's easier to purchase. It's membership they make it easy for you to be a member. Isn't that nice? So yeah, that's coming up.
So ignore. Oh, no, never mind.
Oh yeah, almost.
Good. Ignore the
newsletter.
Next line.
Join the newsletter, please do, because that is where you will hear about all that other stuff first. And the newsletter is also it's fun to read, right, Davey? Because I'm funny, right, Davey?
Yeah, she's pretty funny.
All right, next.
I'll tell you a fun fact about Brandy. She doesn't send you a big chunk like text message. She sends you 15 little text messages, and that's just how her brain works.
I know. I think in like those characters, this is why I actually got excited about places like Blue Sky and Twitter in the first place. I was like, that's how my brain functions.
All right, drum roll, please. The winner by, I believe, 1 vote in the drink name is Ghost Bart.
Let pair. So that was why I wanted to, because originally I thought that was the one that was going to win, and then it kind of backed off, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And then there was a tie, but that's why I wanted to show the Ghost Heart video in the beginning so you knew what we were talking about. But this is lovely. And look at this beautiful photography that Kat does. And she makes these recipes, and she also said, I said, oh, she's like, well, it's sparkling. It's kind of fall. It kind of gets you into the fall mood. Plus Mary is gold. So that's why you've got the Goldschlager in there.
Wow. I've never even heard of Goldschlager.
Oh, it's quite nice. It's light and I like that one. Yeah.
Very cinnamony.
Wow.
Very cinnamony.
Very cinnamony. Nice. And you can add yourself a little pears and cheese if you like to. And it's very nice.
I know. Look at the little spread with the pears and cheese. It's lovely.
I know. So lovely. All right, Davey.
So our next announcement is about the Peculiar Movie Club. And you might be thinking to yourself, Davey, you haven't done movies for 3 months. Is the Peculiar Movie Club still a thing? Yes. I have kids. Darren doesn't have kids but owns his own business, so you couldn't pick 2 people that have schedules that don't line up any better than us. But I'm even crazier because I'm adding to it. I'm adding a September movie for Mary's book. So I owe you 4 movies. Some of these might have to be solo episodes just because of schedules and things like that. But we want to do Milk together because we both watched it. But we're going to do Wag the Dog still, A Vigilante. And for Mary's book, I was perfect. It has to be the movie Repo Man, starring Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker. It's got a terrible score on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think it's one of those movies where you're like, if you're just in it for the action and you're just in it for like the leading men, I think like you just enjoy a popcorn flick for 2 hours.
Wait, is this a remake? Is this a remake? This Repo
No,
Man?
2010. It's from 2010. Was there an older version?
Yeah, that was really good. It had what's that guy's name? Emilio Estevez or something?
Wait, what?
There was the original Repo Man was really good.
There was a Repo Man movie with Emilio Estevez. Yes.
Was it the same Repo Man?
But is that about body parts?
No, this is about body parts.
This is body parts. So this is set in the future, and it's a company that, like, if you don't stay up with your payments for your replacement body parts, the Repo Men come to claim their property back.
I see.
And it's
See,
very
there's
bloody. It's very bloody and violent.
okay. It's
and-
another instance of two things with the same title. Happens
There you
all
go.
the time.
Just talked about that.
Yes.
Convergence of all
totally.
things.
And it's directed by Miguel Sapochnik, who, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, he did all the big, huge battles on Game of Thrones. So you know the action's going to be good.
The action's going to be good. All right. Well,
Wow, this
I'm
sounds
very
good.
interested.
Who are the main guys in it?
Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker.
Okay.
That sounds
Wow.
pretty good.
Andy got a bad score on. Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those movies. You gotta just enjoy the action.
And punk rock, says Brian Melvin. It says Mindy said the original was about repossessing cars, and
That's
Ryan's
right.
like, and punk rock. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I think is, there's so much I want to talk about this book, and there's a bunch of questions over there. But first, before I get too far, since we named the drink the Ghost Bartlett pear, let's talk about Ghost Hearts, because there was such there were so many headlines for a while, and it was going to be the next best thing. They had taken all the cells out, and it was going to be awesome. And then reality.
Yeah. No, it was called, the term for it is decell recell. So you take a heart and you decell it. It's basically just detergent. It breaks down the coating of the cells, the living cells. So they disintegrate, and you just flush the way down the drain. And what you're left with is the extracellular material, the collagen and like the support structures, which is this fabulous white ghosty thing.
Great.
And you see there's images online. Yeah. And the idea was that then you could take the patient's cells and just introduce them and resell the thing. Like just, take the cells but the problem is that when the cells are broken down, that's very small material. The cells are big, and they're too big to get back where they need to go.
Right.
You'd be using the circulatory system to get the cells back, but they're too big. So it didn't. And also, how do you get the different kinds to go? Get off the trolley in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. So I was reading that because I thought that was so funny, because I remember it was such a big deal for a while, and it was like, oh, this is going to solve organ donation. You're just going to be able to take this heart and scrub it of stuff. You'll never need to take anti-rejection drugs. And then it just silence. You just didn't hear anything about it at all. So this was the other side of the story, and that's why I did my little I don't even know what accent Igor accent about, the ghost hearts really only work for ghosts.
Exactly. But it was I talked to this guy, he works in Carnegie Mellon at the bioprinting lab there, and he was like, this is what I got, this is how I got into my career. I was like, whoa, decell resell this is amazing, this is going to work great, but problematic. God, it's just but bioprinting is so tricky. The people in this lab are just trying to figure out, even just to print muscle, you got to print you got to figure out how the cells are aligned. Like for heart cells, the heart kind of twists as it beats. So you kind of they have to print in a helix form, whereas like the deltoid, they're kind of they're arranged in a fan shape. So you can't just throw a bunch of cells down and go okay, there's a shoulder muscle. So complicated.
Yeah, and it is kind of funny, because it's it's easier to take things apart than it is to put together. We're not. I got to thinking about olive loaf for some reason when you were talking about they were trying to 3D print infections, and I was thinking of olive loaf. But
right, yeah, you'd go along and you'd be like fat, mortadella, neat. Yeah. And also, if you're printing right there, that red thing, that's a 3D plastic. Not mucosa, 3D human rectum, 3D printed. That is a 3D printed human rectum. But if you were trying to actually print the real deal, it's floppy, right? So so you're when you 3D print, you're building up,
So there's nothing.
Each layer is building on top of the previous layer. So if you've got something that's kind of floppy, it doesn't.
Now you guys know why you need the bone in the finger. I'm not flipping anyone off. Oh shit! I just realized. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
someone's gonna watch this video. We're gonna get banned from YouTube. But so you were telling me that they were trying to print stuff in gelatin or something.
Yeah, there's that's like a support bath. So and then this could be the material that's kind of supporting the wiggly stuff would then, if you heat it up, it rinses away. You sort of wash it away, and then you have this little. They were printing, I think, like a little bit of branching artery, that in the lab the day that I was there. But yeah, it's yes, and that's why the chapter is titled "Giving the Finger."
So rude, clutches pearls, says Sadie Simmons.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I was reading this. So I have to say, this is another thing. There's so much I'm trying to put into a book review, and they're like, no one's going to understand, because I'm trying to take all of this material and condense it down to this little piece. But it's fascinatingly complex to, like, every little slice of your body is so weird and I was about to say random, but actually weird and not random. But quite specific. And that's why, and speaking of rectums and colons and rectums, you can't really remake the sphincter either, for instance.
Right. That's a really tricky thing. A muscle that contracts in a ring is really tricky to build. But people try to create artificial anuses, and there's one school in China that, I forget the name of it, but there's like 10 papers on PubMed for really high tech artificial sphincters that are like with telemetry and photo cells, but anyway, none of them have ever made it out of the lab. They're
I don't know. The sun don't shine. Am I not wrong about that?
Yeah. So I mean, it's like,
isn't every alien spaceship door designed to be like a spare muscle?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Every sci-fi door.
It's it's like the aperture on a camera. Yeah. That's actually there's a reflex called the anal wink, which is this. The anal wink. Yeah, it is. It's sweet. You just scratch the side of the anus and it goes. I've had that demonstrated in a lab.
Wow,
that username's up for grabs, everybody.
Scratch the sphincter.
Anal wink.
And wink. Sphincter wink. Do you know if there's turbulence on a plane, you automatically wink your butthole? I discovered this recently on Really Bad Turbulence. And then I saw a comedian talking about it, and I was like, I just had that happen. You just kind of squeeze. I don't know why.
So it's specific to airplane turbulence, or any surprise?
I don't know. But I was feeling it a lot on the turbulence. I was like, I'm puckering, like, for real.
I believe it. Yeah. Well, you don't want to mess up those. Although I think that upholstery is pretty cleanable.
Yeah, you don't want too much turbulence in the. We are getting way out there for it's past halftime, and that of course means music, and Charming Disaster has a special song just for you. So we're gonna do that. Yay!
Oh, hello, Peculiars.
It's us, Charming Disaster.
We're big fans of Mary Roach, so we're excited to be part of today's episode. And this new book sounds really interesting.
Totally.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, Elliot.
If you could replace any one of your body parts, what would you pick?
I think I might replace my ear with a tin ear or something.
Oh, that's nice.
How about you, Elliot? What would you replace?
My heart, I think.
Replace.
Oh, if I had a heart, I would replace it, I think, with a heart of brass.
Oh.
In the dirigible gondola, the clouds fog up your monocle. You wipe it with a handkerchief embroidered with a monogram. Looking for lost continents, you'd better check your pocket watch. We won't be home for luncheon, but they'll keep the platters warm. Not as pure as gold,
a captive of the scientist,
not as sharp as
he practiced his experiments,
not as strong as stone.
Flesh and blood will never last. My baby's got a heart of brass.
Underneath the diving bell, return to the submersible before the lonely Nautilus can wrap you in its tentacles, moistening your handkerchief to polish your discoveries. The needle of the compass doesn't point to any north.
Not as pure as gold,
Captive of the scientist,
not as sharp as glass.
she practiced her experiments. Flesh and blood will never last. My baby's got a heart of brass. Quince paste laced with laudanum will get you through the tedium of waiting to be rescued from inside the sanitarium. The esoteric brotherhood suspect you're up to nothing good. The ampule in your handkerchief will put them all to sleep. We're all some kind of machine. We're only cogwheels, pistons and steam. All of us powered by water and heat. It makes our tick-tock hearts beat, 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 beat. The automaton forever sits its hand upon the writing desk, gently grips a fountain pen that circumscribes an arabesque, deciphering the messages encrypted by the alchemist. A handkerchief will wipe away the secrets that it keeps. Not as pure as gold, a captive of the scientists, not as sharp as they practice their experiments, not as strong as flesh and blood will never last. My baby's got a heart of brass. Floating down the Amazon, we wonder if we've gone too far. Plunge into the whirlpool at the basin of the waterfall, scribbling this chronicle. The fog clouds up your monocle. A handkerchief will stop her up. Our message in a bottle, we have left it gently bobbing on the surface of the water as we sail around the spiral into mystery or miracle. Cry into your spyglass, inquire of your oracle. Squint into your spyglass, you can see us, Wayfair world.
That's a great one. I love that one.
That's amazing songwriting.
They are so great, and they've also been a part of our show since the very beginning. And I partly took inspiration from their quarantine live cast, which they were doing during COVID, the COVID times. But while they were playing, I had a chance to go back and look at some of the other things people have been saying. Speaking of rectums, Brandy Schillace 2025, says Rebecca. And then Sadie actually said, see, they need the sex toy industry to handle innovation instead of medical researchers. And your book talks about that. Amanda actually said it down here, that they look to it for girth. Didn't they? The
director of the Cedars-Sinai Transgender Health and Surgery Center, he wrote a published paper on what's the optimal girth when you're when you're rebuilding a penis, because there were cases where people were coming to him and saying, look, this surgeon, it made it too big. I can't fit it. Yeah. I can't fit it in. My partner's like, Jesus, what is that thing? So he's had to do some reduction. So he was like, well, what is the optimal size? And one of the places he went was Good Vibrations. He looked at the sales, the popularity of so great. Yeah, I went on Amazon and got sales data on what size dildo was the best seller. He went and asked people at Good Vibrations, and the answer is in the book. The ideal girth. It's in the book.
What I think is great about this is that, you say that it seems as though surgeons sometimes create big ones so they can say, look at that big one I made.
Yes, that's what he said. They kind of slap themselves on the back, check
Look
out.
At that. Yeah. So Amanda, reductions are common because men. Yes.
Yeah. It's I remember from some book, I don't know which book, I remember reading about nudicles, which are little silicone implants for dogs that have been neutered, right? They're little dog testicles. And apparently guys who have a a pug or a dachshund were getting extra larges because they're like small, medium, large, extra large, like giving the poor dog this like big balls just because they can.
Oh God. Well, you also mentioned, speaking of gender and getting us back to vaginas, that the first one of the early cases using part of the rectum to recreate a vagina was not for transgender, but was for a woman who'd had cancer.
Yeah.
Because she was literally saying to her doctors, well, I have to have a vagina or my husband will leave me.
Yeah. It was, I don't know if it was the rectum, but it was part of the intestine. And,
yes.
Yeah. And although the rectum would work, I'm sure. But yeah, she said, I must have a vagina or my husband will leave me. And one of the surgeons in another case was like, this is mandatory to prevent marital discord.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, you might want to ask this woman.
Yeah.
It's really something she wants to undertake.
Oh my God. Lorelei asked, didn't you cover penis reconstruction in Grunt as well? Did you? I don't remember.
I did. I covered, I went to it was a penis transplant chapter. There was before the first penis transplant at I think it was Johns Hopkins. Anyway, but I was there for a cadaver run through. So they had the two cadavers and they had the two penises and they were taking one and then installing it on the other. One of them was circumcised and one not. I'm like, hey, I guess it doesn't matter because they're not going to use it.
Well,
it was kind of like, I don't know.
Are you getting a non-kosher? I mean, I don't know. Does your transplant have to be kosher? Sorry. It seems like a question you might want to broach at some point. I mean, what I'm curious about is like, if you're doing a full-on transplant, does color matching, is that a thing? Like, do you know?
Yes, color matching is important. People want a matching.
Right.
Well, yes, it is.
For prosthetics.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know in prosthetics that's definitely true. But back to the why we can't create the sphincters. The sphincters that there were some that were transplanted, right? Or implanted. Sorry, not transplants, but like implanted, and they didn't work well.
In animals, yeah. There were some that it made it as far as I think there was a primate study and supposedly it worked and this was at Wake Forest and I contacted the Wake Forest Public Affairs Office and she's like, yes, the researcher retired and I'm like,
but what about the case? There were like 28 patients. There was something that was FDA approved.
Oh, there's a cuff.
A cuff, yeah.
Neocon sphincter. So it's and this is the internal anal sphincter, not the one you control to let shit out. It's the internal
one, yeah.
Which is if it's not closing tightly enough, that sphincter, you have some leakage. So this cuff that you would kind of like inflate and then when you wanted to dump, you would let it go. The problem is that it was either not tight enough to hold stuff in or tight that you were constipated. So you were swapping incontinence for constipation. And there were a fair number of infections because it's pretty close to a bunch of bacteria laden fecal material. So those are not happening. Those
So but what was interesting about it, which caught me out, and I thought this was amazing. So this is some part of your book that I wasn't really expecting to run into, but in a kind of recognition that that disabled lives matter, kind of, and that you should ask them, because the stoma, the people who have ostomy bags, whether it's there's a colostomy and there's also the ileostomy, I think. And that there's so much stigma that they can't get people to talk about them. They can't get it on like news. They can't get people to print about it. And it's all this stuff. And that they're almost like they're pushing people towards these internal devices that don't work because that's more comfortable for everyone else, I guess.
Right. Which is, and I went to a 5K run of the United Ostomy Associations of America, and like people are like, this is what I'm wearing. I mean, it was so matter of fact. It's kind of in a way like you get used to say an adult diaper or a tampon or whatever. Like it's just something that becomes your normal. But because it's shit, it has this.
Well, Rebecca said my mobility scooter makes people squeamish. I can't imagine if like shit was involved.
Exactly. So there is, but it's, I think that There've been a number of folks on ostomates, which is somebody who's had an ostomy. People on social media who are just sort of like this. Yeah, I'll show you how I change it. I'll show you this is the system that I use, and
yeah. Well, and I mean,
it is what it is.
Like I didn't have replacement boobs put in either, and they really think you want to. Like I had to argue to not have new boobs put on.
It's unbelievable that it's not presented. It should always be presented as an option, and until recently, I think it was pretty uncommon that a surgeon would say, you can just go flat.
I mean, they offered it as an option, but there was so much like, are you sure? Are you sure? I was like, first of all, I lost only 6 ounces when I had them off. It's not like it's not that noticeable, frankly.
Same here. I don't know. There's not that
but
much
yeah,
there.
like it is kind of funny. So got a question here. Mindy says, how often do random people tell you weird stories that are totally unasked for? And do any of these stories ever make it into your work?
Oh, not nearly often enough. I want those stories all the time, and I absolutely would sometimes stuff does make it into the book for sure. Of course, nothing's coming to mind right now, but I love when people it's often by email.
I know, that's so cool.
When the TED Talk related to bonk came out, I got the best email. Like they'd be like, "There's this guy who's like, hello, I'm a man living in Greece, and I have an orgasm whenever I ride a bicycle." And so it happens, and sometimes it doesn't happen right away, and so I ride in circles, so it'll happen, and then I am late for my appointment. I just thought you would like to know. Because they didn't on the TED Talk, they didn't say, I'm an author, this is my book. They just sort of like put me out there, and people thought I was a researcher. So
they just wanted, sure.
I just got a lot of people going, you might want to study me. Like I put on lip gloss and I have an orgasm.
That is hilarious. We have a couple more questions, but I'm going to save them till after the quiz because I think they'll be nice wrap up questions. Leanne's like, how do we email you?
MaryRoach1@gmail. Do it.
And Sadie Simmons points out, she's like, it's wild that people who have changed a baby are so grossed out by ostomy bags. Like for real.
I know,
that's right, Sadie. My whole life right now, I got twins. I got double diapers going on. You just get in there and you deal with it.
I know. It's crazy.
All right, so Mary, it is that time. You've been on many times.
I've failed many times.
Yes. I was thinking about like 3D printing body parts, and I found a Reddit thread where people were like, "What's the weirdest thing you've 3D printed?" You can guess. What do you think? 80-90% of the answers were.
The people have 3D printed a dildo.
Penises, it was penises.
Okay. All right, ding, ding, you're gonna give me that.
Ding.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we gotta come up with something more creative than that. So I fell back on since I didn't get a chance to read the book yet. I'm excited about it, but I fell back on my old standby, which is Hollywood.
Of course.
So we're gonna talk about some famous bionic people, we'll just say.
Okay.
So the quiz is called We Can Rebuild Him.
Okay, one quick thing, because I don't want to get too far away from the original conversation. I did see Jenna, Susan's daughter, says, I've recently had issues with urinary retention. I've learned a lot about making people uncomfortable. Don't we all? Sorry, carry on.
All right. So in The $6 Million Man, probably the most famous bionic character, after former astronaut Steve Rogers crashes, he has several body parts replaced, including a bionic left eye, a bionic right arm, and bionic legs, which allow him to run up to what top speed? Is it A, 50 miles per hour, B, 70 miles per hour, or C, 120 miles per hour?
I remember the whole, like, we can build him better than before, better, stronger, faster. No, the whole thing. But faster, what is the fast? How fast? I'm going to say 50.
Okay, 50. She's going 50.
All right. Anyone?
I'm waiting for their guesses to come in. This is based on the original run of the show. I know there were some, like, movies made after.
Yeah.
This is, there was actually, like, a shot of, like, a speed gun showing the speed.
Oh, that's right. I kind of remember the speed gun. Ryan's saying B. Leanne says B. Oh, Susan says A. Susan's going with Mary. Rebecca says, I never watched it. Mindy says
Did not
B.
miss much.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right.
Boy, there's a smattering of A's and B's.
In the show, the top speed that he reached was 70 miles per hour.
Miles per hour.
Wow. Did you guys remember this from the $6 Million Man? Good Lord.
Maybe they did. I had to look it up. Maybe they did.
I do kind of remember seeing it on the little like near thing, but
I remember when he'd used his eye, it would go beep 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 beep, and I was like, "That's really annoying." Every time
it would
cue
be.
appear, it's like dee 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 dee. No,
I was going to ask you that. There was also they had like what the zoom lens was on his eye. I think it was like 20-to-1 zoom lens or something like that.
Oh my god, that is.
No, I use my iPhone.
All right, question number 2. In Ghost in the Shell, Major Motoko. Wait, hang on. I had this earlier. Motoko Kusanagi is a cybernetic human augmented with a synthetic full body prosthesis. Which 2 body parts remaining are organic? Is it the Major's brain and eyes, her brain and heart, or brain and spine?
Boy, I'm not sure about this one.
I'm gonna go.
This is one of those ones that's like on my watch list. Like I don't watch many anime, but
if it were scientifically accurate, I think brain and eyes are like almost impossible to replace. So, but I don't really think they're going for accuracy. But I'm going to go with brain and eyes.
Brain and eyes. Okay.
Brain and eyes.
Leanne says brain and spine.
Kristen's helping me out my pronunciations. You just see me on my baseball podcast. I butcher some names really.
I'm gonna like be different and go brain and heart just for funsies, since you guys did brain and eyes and brain and spine.
It's probably brain and heart, yeah.
The answer is brain and spine.
Spine. Look at that.
Yeah, that's what they. Wow. I don't know if it's her original. Spine. I'm assuming it's her original body parts. Yeah.
What? So they can do a heart and they can't do a spine? Wow. Losers.
All right. Question number 3.
Okay.
We're going into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bucky Barnes, also known as the Winter Soldier in the Marvel Universe, has a prosthetic vibranium arm. How does he clean the arm?
I thought you said a prosthetic vibrating arm because I don't have my glasses on again.
That'd be great.
Is it A, special liquid vibranium spray? Is it B, just baby wipes? Or is it C, does he put it in the dishwasher?
I'm going to say, oh man, I hope it's dishwasher.
I hope it's baby wipes. Since we already talked about changing babies, it would just be so,
This might be a spoiler for the new movie Thunderbolts that just came out a few months ago, but it's on Disney Plus now, so it's fair game. Any guesses from the crowd?
Oh boy, there's a bunch of people are going C. I want it to be B, says Mindy. Oh, it must be A because MCU is all about vibranium, which Brandy thinks is vibranium.
Really. Yeah, if we could just discover vibranium, it would solve all our problems.
Oh well, wouldn't it just?
Did we have our final answer from Mary was
dishwasher?
Dishwasher.
The answer is yes. He washes it in the dishwasher.
That's hilarious. I love that.
A nice steam clean.
Gets rid of that bacteria, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
All right, there you go.
I love it. I love it.
Quiz.
Well, we have a couple of questions left for Mary that are not quiz questions, though we always love the quiz.
Bring them.
Let's see here. Whoops. From Sureka, which of your books was the most fun to research and why?
I'm going to go with Packing for Mars because I got to be weightless.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah.
That
would kind of swing it, wouldn't it?
Freaking cool. Yeah. It took me a while to get NASA to allow me on one of those flights. They're like, you have to be a full-time reporter from a newspaper or a magazine, and I'm like, I'm a science writer. I'm gonna keep it there. Like, man, I had to like
how many TED Talks do I have to give here?
Yeah. It took a while. but then
that's
I made
pretty
it
cool.
on. So that, and Johnson Space Center is just a geek's playground in general.
Right.
It was a lot of fun, and I got to go up to Devon Island up in the Arctic where they.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, they use it as an analog for Mars and for the moon because it's sort of a barren, weird landscape.
Right.
So I spent a week up there. That was so fun. Yeah.
I used to read your books and think, oh, I want to do that. I want to go there. But then I realized I don't really like to leave my house. So probably that would not be great. I mean, I do I do leave my house. I was in Berlin and Russia, places to research, but probably not. I'm more of a camping is like a 3-star hotel kind of thing. I'm not really really rough it. Really.
Yeah. Then Devon Island is not for you.
No, it doesn't sound.
It was definitely living in a tent, and then they'd have the cold showers in the Arctic.
No, that sounds
bad. Nobody changed their clothes. Nobody took a shower. They'd be like, just change your base layer. That's all you have to do.
Wow.
I remember that from the first book we did on this show. That was my thought. Like, Mary gets to go to just the greatest places.
I know. I thought that, but then like I thought it through and was like, actually, no.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna read Mary's
I'm getting old now, so
You need to like research something that would be really comfy and cozy. Like, what are the best beaches? You know, like something like that.
No, like pillows.
Pillows.
The
science of pillows.
And tea.
And
what
tea.
is the most commonly replaced part of the human body? Probably the lens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
My
Mark
guess.
actually has lenses implants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for do you have cataracts or
no? He's got a lens implanted over his other lens because his eyes were so bad that they couldn't fix them any other way, and he was getting to where he couldn't wear contacts anymore. But glasses were too difficult. So
now they can. Sometimes if you're really nearsighted, you have the option, if you could convince someone to do it, to pop in a new.
Yeah.
lens.
The only problem is every time he looks to the right, it goes no. And then Kathleen asks, and I thought this was a lovely question, given where your book ends, is there a body part you think we will never be able to replace, or perhaps shouldn't?
It's it'd be pretty hard to replace the brain, portions of the brain.
Yeah.
That seems pretty rough. I'm trying to think what else difficult to replace. I asked a surgeon this. I said, what's the most difficult thing to replace in your opinion? And he said things that contract. That's what got me onto the anal sphincter.
Oh, the anal sphincter.
Yeah, he's like, things that contract. You could take muscle from elsewhere in the body, but it's, if you take muscle from the leg or something, the cells are all arranged in a different pattern, and you'd like to get that thing is tough. The anal wink.
The anal wink is very difficult.
It's very
harder than an eye wink, as it turns out.
Yes, it's tough to recreate. So yeah,
I just missed a couple of comments up here, but Bonnie said, "I hope his arm is food safe." I think we're talking about and watertight.
Yeah. See, the thing with those cyborg arms, a lot of times they're not waterproof.
Yeah,
no, like for real.
His original Russian arm was not waterproof, but the vibranium from Wakanda was. So
that's why he was able to dish water. Well, that's a significant advance. All right.
I feel like replacing parts of the brain would make a really, really cool like sci-fi book. Like if someone wanted to explore because I remember Brandy with your book with like cutting the heads off the monkeys, it was the question of like, and the one monkey wakes up and like remembers the doctor. Like he's like, I hate that guy.
Yeah, that guy sucks. Yeah.
But if you start replacing parts of the brain, like how much of you is left? Like,
Well, I mean, and how much can you get by? I mean, that book was all about how much of your brain do you need to be, but then even you're not just your brain either. You're like other parts of your body feeding your brain and your hormones, and you're a radically different person depending on
a whole system. Brandy, did you see that Cannavaro published this paper saying, this is the surgeon who wanted to do a whole body transplant, like take your head and give you a whole new youthful body. So, but he's like, I've changed my mind. Now I think it should just be the brain that would be put, because he's like, if you're going to have a pristine new body, you don't want an ugly wrinkled face.
Oh jeez.
So it's like,
so now he's like, we're just going to replace the brain. Of course,
we're just going to take replace the brain.
Cannavaro is also the same guy who wrote who wrote a book about like how to seduce women. So he's kind of,
it's revolting.
He's revolting. He actually sent me I don't know how he got my email. He sent me an email at one point.
He did?
Yeah, because he read my book and he was like, I should have been in it more, kind of thing. But what was hilarious is he thought I was a man, and then he was really depressed to find out that. Oh no, I'm sorry, he didn't email me directly. Sorry, he emailed a doctor I happen to know, and he was really depressed when he found out that that book was written by a woman. Because I don't think he realized ladies write. I guess.
No, he's
so sexist. He's terrible.
It's unbelievable that. But I have a footnote. I don't talk about him much in the book at all, but I have this footnote with a quote from the Amazon description of the book. I could read it to you, but I'd have to find it. But it's just disgusting.
He's awful.
You know what? I can't read it because I don't have reading glasses on. But anyway, yeah.
But the footnotes, by the way, Amanda and I, who have both read the book, this is one of those books where you want to read the footnotes. Like,
I know I should put a warning,
footnotes.
like, do not skip the footnotes. These are not your typical footnotes. I always think about that. Like there's people out there who've read the book and they would like, I don't read footnotes normally. It should have a
I tried, they never want me to have footnotes. We're at the same publisher. We actually have the same editor. And so we probably have the same arguments about why we should be allowed to have footnotes. But I think footnotes are really great, especially if they're not overused.
I know.
Never skip the footnotes. Never skip the footnotes.
So you have Jill as an editor.
Yeah, I do.
I guess
yeah.
I forgot.
Sort of. I mean, I have whoever Jill is having. Actually, Jill is awesome. Jill is a concept person.
Yes, she is.
And then the detail things tend to be. She's a big picture person, and she's great. But yeah. Mary always has great footnotes, says Lorelai. I love footnotes, says Leanne.
Yes.
The footnotes,
good. Yes, they will. I had to fight
in the audiobook.
Awesome.
I
had to fight for that because and for the last time I read a book, I just put them at the end. Like all of them at the end, just sort of read them out. But because it's difficult, it kind of interrupts the flow of things. So I'd sort of use my voice to go, footnote. No. So it's kind of, I think it might be annoying for people, but I insisted.
No, it's so good. It's so good. And they're always, it's usually stuff like, you complete the joke, like you've set us up, and then some of us are going to get there, and then you're like, I'm like, oh, there's got to be a foot. Oh, there it is, and there's the rest of it.
Great. A lot of the whole book is set up for the footnotes.
Yeah, it really is. It's so good, and it is 8:06, so we have come to the end of our show. Sadness, but this was such a wonderful time. It was so good to have you back, and I almost I made like a hugging gesture when you came, like Mary, and I don't even hug people. But it was so
honored,
good.
Brandy.
It's so much involved in this book. It's so great. And I saw Rebecca Gibson already saying she's going to use it in courses on transhumanism. So, but I really want to say thank you for having elements that are very much about disability rights in there. I mean, I know that's not maybe I actually managed to sneak that in a little bit into the review because I think that's really important. And I suspect a lot of people will miss that. And it's like, no, it's a huge part of what you're saying is that actually we're kind of not terribly replaceable. You live as the person that you are, and that's worthwhile, which is awesome. And I love it. Mary, you're in our tribe, says Leanne. And
Yay.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Or inspires our tribe, says Sadie.
Thank you, Peculiars. I love you all.
I am going to make sure that I have Mary's book up on our bookshops.org. I get the orgs and comms mixed up on some of these things, but we have our own bookshop.org place where we sell our books through indie booksellers. And so it will be up there before it's released. I'll probably get it up there tomorrow. So you can get it there, get it at any of your other favorite bookstores. Don't sleep on it. It's going to be fantastic and fabulous. And if you want to read a book review about it, that's coming out soon too. So thank you, Mary. Davey, any last words?
I'm excited as everybody else. So I gotta add it to my when the audiobook comes out, I am ready.
Yeah, and I think the audiobook comes out simultaneously with this one.
It should be close.
It should be close. Yeah. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay with Norton.
I did it a couple months ago. Yeah. Norton doesn't even have its own audio, but I had to do it through Simon and Schuster, I think.
I know.
No, Penguin Random House. I don't know.
They went with somebody else entirely for mine. Who knows?
Yeah, they don't do their own anyway. But thank you guys both. Thank you both. It's always a delight.
And it's good to have all of you who are listening and who are watching being with us at a place where, if you're weird, you're family.
You got the blue bottle blues when you wake up in the night. Don't make a big mistake, 'cause you can never make it right. When you reach out for the vial, feel the ridges in the glass. It's a matter of survival, baby, better watch your back. There is no